hydrangeas in this area are fully pruned. The mundane task in the garden for me, I often enjoy, because this is a time where I can come in and evaluate what my hydrangeas look like. Am I going to go in and give them a critical shaping for that season? And so for some of them I had to, and for others I didn't have to do as much pruning to kind of shape the tree. Because this hedge of hydrangea is up against my home here, you will see that most of the growth is towards the front. All of that was done by design, and that's the way I wanted it to look. There's a total of 6 limelight hydrangeas on standard form over here. And what that means is that these limelight hydrangeas have been pruned and shaped over years to grow into a tree form. By when I say the shaping of the hydrangea, so for some of them, like this one here, it was big, it was huge when we first started. But now I'm loving what the structure looks like. Get all of the hydrangea clippings up as well as some leaves, and then we'll move on to the next step. And I almost forgot, if you're wanting to propagate your woody form hydrangeas, now is the perfect time to go out, take a cutting. So let me find a good example here. Here's a perfect example. So what I would do in this scenario, I would go ahead and I would cut both sides of the hydrangea. Really simple. And I would make sure that I insert this all the way to a leaf node, and I would go ahead and I would cut off the excess hydrangeas, stems, and I will go ahead and I will stick this down and I will let this grow out, and then I will start to shape it and trim it. Make sure to keep it moist, and I actually would go ahead and keep it outside. Each one of these hydrangea trees has some drip tubing in them. But then in addition to drip tubing is also leaves in there. So now a couple of things, I'll do kind of like a 50-50 type situation to where I move out about 50% of the leaves. And then what I'll do is I'll leave some of the leaves in there because they're going to break down and it's going to provide nutrients to our hydrangea trees here. So again, 50-50 here as well. The hydrangea is leaning like the Leaning Tower. We are going to address that. We're just not going to address it today, but I want to show you all some containers that we're going to be moving real quick. Let me show you those. Here's the first container that we're going to be moving. So the first one I want to put right here in this area because this is marking out, this is the entryway. So I'll put the first one right here. Here's the next container that we're going to get moved back in the back. Here is where we will place the next container here. Let me show you what we're going to do about soil here. I probably should pick this up. As for the soil that was inside of these containers, I recycled them. So right here, I just took another container, moved it to a lighter weight container, and this is 100% usable soil. I mean, if you get in and you look at how good this looks, it looks absolutely amazing. It's pliable, you can use it, you can plant in it. It's been out in the freezing weather, no leaves was on top of it, so anything that was inside of it, I'm honestly not concerned with it. But I'm not getting ready to spend about $400 maybe, $250. I mean, depending on what type of soil you use, some of these soils can be $25 a bag. So that's how I like to save money. So this soil is going right back on the inside. Now, granted, these containers right here, I am going to top off with a little bit of fresh soil. When you're dealing with large containers like this, a lot of people will go in and they will use styrofoam, those like peanuts. They'll use plastic containers. They'll put different stuff in the bottom of it. And the reason why they do that is to save money. And so that way, instead of them having to fill up this entire vessel, they're only having to fill up this much versus the entire length of the container. And me personally, I just say to each his own, but I am going to be reusing this soil. I have to top this one off right here. This one. I've topped all of them off except for one. We are going to plant these up, so let me go get the plants real quick. Look at these beautiful hellebores. We are losing light, so I do have one more task that I want to do after we plant these up. You guys, look at these gorgeous beauties. Look at that. Woo! So let's start planting these up, and then we'll talk about everything that we put in the containers. I'm excited. In this container right here, I used a yellow tulip, then I used the hellebore. Now this hellebore, they face up. So if we come up top here, you can see that this hellebore is not looking down. If you're looking for hellebores that are going to look up versus looking down, you want to look for the gold series. And an easy way to remember that is golden sun. So that's how you'll know that your hellebore is going to face straight up, okay? Absolutely beautiful. So then I came around the bottom and I did a new look Dusty Miller here. And then I also did some violas. And let me find one that's in bloom because we are still early. So here we go here. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful and angelic? We have the Penny Primrose Picotee here, the new look Dusty Miller, and if you look at this, you can really see how everything ties back in. We have our hellebore. It has a chartreuse with a yellow undertone, and then we have our yellow tulip, and then we have our hellebore. Perfect contrast in the colors from the hellebore, that deep hunter green foliage or foliage depending on where you're from, and then the beautiful silver from the Dusty Miller. It's absolutely beautiful, and we are really going to get a show out of this. This is just everything to me. It's gorgeous, just that perfect pick-me-up. And I repeated the same pattern in every single container. Just gorgeous. I mean, look at that. And then, just look. It's so beautiful. I mean, the colors. Just absolutely gorgeous. Let's just take a second and take that all in. Let me water these in. So everything is planted up. Is one more thing that I have to do today. The last thing we need to do is we need to water in these containers here. Have your plants in containers, especially once the weather has started to warm up. We've been in the 50s, 60s, almost 70s some days. So it's going to be very important to make sure I keep my root balls watered. And Lord knows I should definitely have on my shield.